something we're going to call a real under. We're going to probably make it real under an hour on this one. But I did speak with you guys earlier on a couple of thoughts that I had, and we'll see what comes up here on our magic stream. Hi, everybody. It is Black Spring back here with you on your Wednesday. So I want to thank you guys so much. And for those of you who entertained or humored me earlier in the magic boule that I spoke of earlier. So, it was quite stimulating to see you guys. But this is an opportunity right now. We're not going to take a long time. It is a Wednesday. I'm trying to get you in and out in under an hour on this. So as promised, I wanted to come back and show you the actual interview, that Mr. Johnson did on The View. I wouldn't say it's an interview because The View itself to me is not, to me, it's more of a gossip rag. And they all just kind of sit around and just kind of one up each other and kind of massage each other the whole time and, set each other up for the script on there. So, but you'll have a strong stomach for that. I'm sure you'll be fine with that. But yeah, so we're going to have a look at that. First, I'm going to take a look at an article that came out of the Grio. That's just one article. Most of it, I think, have been pretty consistent with the same premise when referring to Johnson on this particular subject. Hello, Luciano. Thank you so much for coming in. I really appreciate it. Just take a quick second here to say thank you. I will be updating some of these things. And of course, I want to thank you guys so much for everybody that came in earlier. You guys are always a lot of fun and we don't miss a beat around here. So we're going to move through this pretty quickly. We're going to move through the article, move into the actual interview. And if somebody wants to jump on the pendulum, we're going to do that. I want to give you guys, a little bit of allotment of time and then we're going to move us on. So let's get started. This show is brought to you in part by our sponsors. Whether you're interested in health, culture, politics, scripture, automobiles, or music, please check out Derek C. Williams, Killer Whale Channels, The Definition of Anarchy, Marcy T., Joseph Francis Burton, Paralysis by Analysis, Chrysler Imperial H, Little Miss Goth, AZ Infidel, Cold War Jesus, Anthony Scioli, and Let the Truth Be Told. We'll be right back right after this. All right, guys, we're back. So we're coming back to you, as I promised from earlier. This is basically part 2 of today's stream. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you the article, and I want you to be able to see. There's about halfway through this interview. It's only about a few minutes. I want you to hear from Johnson himself, and then like I said, this is going to be real in and out on the pendulum on this one because I was making connections and correlations between what I thought of as the boulets and the flying monkeys and the influences that are around us when the stakes are high or when they are trying to normalize something. But I'm also going to make cross-reference an article or a liner from earlier this year that involved Prince Harry, which he has a similar mission. So I'm thinking this is not just it's not just a matter of it's not just a cultural thing. It's going to speak to just I think there's a global normalization that's they're trying to achieve here, and that this I think this whole AIDS campaign is back again, and I think that Johnson was obviously chosen or tapped for this. This is his role. In fact, in this particular interview, he basically says that's what he is the face of, but then he's also Lord Fauci is involved in this whole bit. So without further ado, let's get going here. I want to say hello really quickly to everybody that's here. Luciano's here. Thank you. And DJ Vision Barnett's nice to see you. Fancy Truth's here. Hi, Fancy Truth. How are you? Thank you so much for coming in, as well as Angry Conservative. All right, so let's hop right in. Thank you guys so much for coming in. All right, so we're going to go ahead and take our first liner from the Grio. And we're going to take the liner from the Grio, and then we'll talk about, like I said, we got into this a little bit earlier today, but I did say, I just want to just a brief recap here. Earlier, we did talk about this in a little bit of what I thought. I kind of gave you some landscape information. I said, okay, in my opinion, this is my assertion, is that the AIDS campaign is back, Boulé style. And they're bringing out the Magic Johnsons. Who else will they bring out? But it's like, this campaign seems to have revved up. You even had, just maybe back in February, you had Prince Harry, who was challenging everyone to know your status, and basically encouraging people, especially those of the UK, to get your home test kits, and he goes back to he's trying to carry on Diana's legacy, and that he wanted that the goal is to remove the stigma surrounding the illness and people knowing their status is by 2023. Not 2023, 2030. Okay. 2030. Okay. So there you go. Common denominator there. Let's see. What else do we have? So I said the normalization, I don't know what comes first in a situation like in a normalizing something. Is it acceptance that comes first, or is it, do you have to achieve that first? Okay, let's see. But yeah, we got to get in and out of here because I've got some things going on. So that's why we're doing we're going to make this a real under. So, all right. So we're going to go on here right now. I'm going to take you to the Grio, the article at hand, and we're going to keep going. Hello to Mad Militant. Callie Unknown, thank you so much for coming in. And let's see. Yeah, Angry. I don't know. Tonight is kind of I've got to get in, and I got to get in and out tonight. I don't know what I'll send you a message. But yeah, I've got to get in this one and out. I'm kind of on running on time here. So let me get you guys going here. And I appreciate it very much. Let's see. It's like these days the time is going by really fast, and like this day has gotten away. So I got to get you guys in and out right now. Okay, so let's do. Let's get you over to the Grio here, the first liner that we have. And there's not a lot of meat here, but there's definitely. I just want you to see he's going on, talking about this thing. It's almost like he's like some kind of a savior or whatever. And But then, of course, he's bringing Lord Fauci along. And, we've seen this before. We've seen in New York where the stateswoman, she has to co-sign Cuomo and tell you not to think about the CV-19 and what's in that and don't question anything. Just ignorance is bliss. Ignorance is the right way to go these days. Just do what the science says. That's what that was the feat that we had. I put you guys through 5 weeks of consecutive. I put you guys through 5 weeks of consecutive. I got the mocktail. You got the mocktail. We got the mocktail videos. I put you guys through that. So here we are again. And it just seems that it's like they want to tell you so bad that they're drawing these parallels between the CV-19 and AIDS. The people have called it COVIDs. I think COVIDs is right on. So what are we talking about? Stigma here? What are we talking about? Misinformation is the enemy of the people. It's just, I'm telling you, but let me stop talking here. Let's get on with this one. Thank you guys so much for coming in. I really appreciate it. Let's see. All right, so here we go. Alrighty, I'm going to give you guys full scale on this one, and then I'm going to show you some of this, a few minutes on that interview. So get you guys in and out. Okay. All right. So what do we got here before you is thegrio.com. Magic Johnson, Dr. Fauci helped me overcome the HIV, the itchy to the EV to the V. Appearing on The View, the NBA legend shared how Dr. Anthony Fauci helped him understand and treat HIV after his 1991 diagnosis. And here's the other thing about it. When you look back, with most things, like we're on a loop or we're on a cycle. It's almost like things in this country, issues go on a dormant cycle. Like HIV goes dormant for a while, and then bam, you're blowing up right back here again with the Boule representatives. The Boule saviors are here to co-sign the liberals, the zaddy liberals, liberal elite. Okay. So here we go. Let me just kind of zoom us through here. So according to this, in an appearance on Wednesday on The View, former Los Angeles Laker Irvin, quote, Magic, end quote, Johnson said Dr. Anthony Fauci was one of the doctors who helped him understand and treat HIV after his 1991 diagnosis. Yahoo Sports reports Johnson said, quote, first of all, let me thank Dr. Fauci, Dr. Ho. I don't know who Dr. Ho is. Help fill me in. They both really helped me to be here. They helped me understand that I had to take my meds. I had to be comfortable with my new status, make sure I kept a positive attitude, and keep working out. And so I've been doing that. Here I am 30 years later, end quote. All right, so you're going to hear some of that drizzle here. You're going to hear it from him. And I want you to hear the other things surrounding this. In just a second. Okay. The 62-year-old basketball legend said it was Fauci and Dr. David Ho, a renowned researcher, here we go, and virologist, who helped him understand the diagnosis. Johnson also praised his wife, Cookie Johnson, who stayed with him after learning of his diagnosis, and noted his family and team were a source of support. Okay, so I'm going to get you guys into this. We won't do this one out of the tweeters. We won't do that one because I'm going to show you. Okay, I'm going to show you a section of that. Okay, the NBA star retired in 1991 after announcing his diagnosis in a press conference. He coached his beloved Lakers for one season and returned to play for a season in 1996 before permanently retiring, per the NBA archives. Johnson also explained that he revealed his diagnosis to help the public and to increase the accessibility of resources, medications for people who could not afford the level of treatment that he could. Quote, that was everything for me to heal, also for me to help people, especially, you got it, in the Black and brown community, because it was running rapidly through our community at that time, end quote. Johnson said, quote, we brought the numbers down. I became the face, and I'm happy about that, end quote. Okay, according to this, it gives you, what gives you his back, his upside down pyramid resume, so to speak. So, of course, he also, he also tips his hat to the Obamas, the Clintons, and all these, and Jordan and all these people. So, but you'll hear that in this particular interview. I'm not going to give you all the drizzle on that, but I am going to extract a section from this particular interview that you can see what I think they're setting, the psychological, the influence that they're trying to set up here. And I think it's a massage for something much, for another something that's going to be revealed, is what my assertion here is. So just really quickly before I pull this out, thank you guys so much for tuning in. Yali Unknown, how are you? Thanks so much for coming. So I'm going to go ahead and get this queued up for you. I appreciate you guys so much for coming. Luciano says, you guys are talking about the leak and all of this bit. So hold on one second. I'm going to bring you in to, and this is the thing. I think when I talked about when I mentioned the actual Boule earlier, I don't think it's limited to Black people. I think now that they've got this color coalition going on, it could be anybody. I think that Sunny Hoyston, I think she's Boule too. I think she is too. I think there's many paths to the Boule. There's many ways to that. So I think it's quite nuanced, but I do think it exists. So we're going to go on over to that piece of the interview, shall we? Hope you guys are doing well out there. And I'll get into some comments here in just a second. But yes, we've talked about earlier about how they use the stewards of trust. They use the athletes. They use the Black nurse. They use the stateswoman out of New York to try to convince everybody of, how they should be thinking about, treating themselves and taking care of themselves. And it seems like they always got to get that Black community to co-sign first. They just got to do it. They can't help themselves. So we're going to watch, Joy Behar set him up like this feels like, set him up for the pitch here. And you can hear some of this stuff surrounding this. Hold on. Okay, so here we go. Behar's going to pitch it to Magic here. Okay, and it just looks real convenient, right? Real convenient, all cozy and stuff, right? All right, so here we are. I'm going to cue it up. Hope you guys are doing well out there. I'm going to remove that. Okay, so I'm going to get ready to share this with you. So get prepared. Got the ladies red and blue make purple. I will maintain that. That's fundamentals, right? Some fundamentals for you. All right, so we're going to get started here. All right, so here we are. So this is, you go back to 91. I want you to just listen to the language here, how they talk about the particular time. And but there's just so much, there's a lot that, I hear what they're not saying. We hear what they're not saying around here is what we do. So we're going to blow this thing up a little bit. Okay. All right, guys, I appreciate it. So here we are. This is yours truly. This is The View.
To immediate retirement from the NBA at the time of your life, which was your HIV diagnosis, and fitness challenges of your life, which was your HIV diagnosis in 1991, one of the worst years of the disease. Which put you into immediate retirement from the NBA at the time. A lot of people considered it a death sentence. It turns out you're here. Thank you. How did you process that?
Well, thank you.
How did you process that and find a way in the middle of that to stay hopeful? Because that was a terrible, terrible time in history in the world.
And you're right. Well, first of all, let me thank Dr. Fauci, Dr. Ho. They both really helped me to be here. They helped me understand that I had to take my meds. I had to be comfortable with my new status, make sure I kept a positive attitude and keep working out. And so I've been doing that. Here I am 30 years later, right? And so, but I must tell you this. If Cookie would have left, I probably wouldn't be here. I'm glad she stayed and supported me, stayed in the marriage. I had a tremendous support system from my kids, my parents, my brothers and sisters, and also the Laker family as well. I got to give them credit, Dr. Jerry Buss and all the Lakers. So when you're going through something, it's all about a support system to help you get through those tough days and tough moments. And Cookie has been my rock and been there for,
And, you
for through all of this.
Let me just add that Dr. Fauci helped you so much.
Yep.
And, he's in the middle of a lot of misinformation out there again, coming at him. And he's become a pariah in certain circles of this country and using him as some kind of patsy.
Yeah.
What do you say about that? Because during that time, there was misinformation too.
Exactly. Just like it is now with this pandemic.
Okay, so I just want to interrupt here. You see how they're setting it up already? It's misinformation, right? We got Truth Ministries, and you got Obama out there talking to people about democracy, and we should agree on what's factual, and here we go. Here, I'm just saying, and Fauci's in the middle of, he's being. I'll stop. I'll be quiet.
That we're going through. I would tell you this: I leaned on the professional that he is, and he knew the science of it. He knew how I could get better and be here for a long time. And here it is. I'm living proof that he was right. So when you have all the right information, and here's a man who's been doing this for a long time, telling you these are the things you need to do, I adhered to that, and I'm happy I did. And we joke now when we see each other, oh man, remember 30 years ago, and here you are today. And then it's like also Mutt and Jeff. I'm so tall, he's so short. Right? He's so small. But we laugh, and we have a really good
I have a feeling Mutt and Jeff follows you around. Right? Everywhere you go.
with everybody.
Yeah.
It was unbelievable. It brought me back so much because it was a retirement that probably shouldn't have happened, right? Because you were in the prime.
Right.
We were just magic.
Yes.
And you came out of retirement to play a couple more times, most notably as part of the 1992 USA Olympic Dream Team. Yes, that's fantastic, and that's in the docuseries. Eventually, you really did become a role model for others living with HIV. How big of an impact do you think you've been able to have on the public perception of the disease?
Well, I think a big impact, especially in the Black and brown community.
Yes.
Because at that time, we had, to your point, Joy, a lot of misinformation. And because of
Here
that,
it is.
a lot of Black and brown people were dying because they had the wrong information, or they were not taking their drugs, their meds, or couldn't afford to buy their meds. And so I got out there, and I'm still out here making sure I educate the Black and brown community and make sure that they have the right information. Also, too, we put up a lot of clinics where they can get their meds for free if you couldn't afford to pay for them. And so I'm happy I'm the face of the disease. I'm happy to try to save people's lives. And then we raise millions and millions of dollars to care for people or put people in housing. Because a lot of things happen where people need assistance in different ways. And so I would say this, just like we went through that phase of HIV and AIDS, and now we're, with the virus and everything, we got to continue to educate ourselves and support each other, and also just listen to those who have the right information, all these doctors and scientists, because everybody has to make their own decision, but I'm gonna always lean on them to give me the right information so I can make the right decision for myself and my family.
But I have to say, and on a personal note, my father's brother died of AIDS. And the fact that you became the face took away so much of that stigma.
Yes.
So
yes.
thank you for doing that.
Well, thank you. Thank you. I appreciate that. And we still got a lot of work to do.
Yes, we do, because it's criminalized.
That's
We
right.
got a lot more to talk about also.
Yeah.
So
Okay, so did you guys get that on it's criminalized? Now, I don't have this entire interview. I don't. I don't have the entire interview, but I'd like to. Like, can you tell us about what is she referring to when she's criminalized? You know, I'm just saying. You know, so there is the gist of, you know, that particular interview, and I thank you guys for enduring that, because that group. But do you see how they kind of volley? You know, this one sets Joy sets it up. She sets it up for the zaddy, the liberal zaddy, Fauci. And then eventually it gets passed over to the Boule ministry, Hoiston. So, you know, I'm just saying, it's just real convenient, a real cozy environment for them to get out a narrative on misinformation, and then also to get out to talk about experts and the science. So you see how those same things are still in the cycle. So, but I'm just, and that's why I told you guys earlier, this is why I don't think that this is over. When I say I don't think that this whole CV-19 thing is over, it's going to morph into something else that I think they're trying to normalize. It's not over. It's always going to be, it'll be dormant, but it's always going to be alive. Okay. It's never going to go away. COVIDs will never go away because people are not taking their meds. People aren't taking their mocktails. And, you know, and even Johnson, you know, he's saying he's the face of this thing to me. Okay. So you were obviously tapped for this thing, but he always talks about Cookie. And even back in the 90s, he was talking about his wife, but I never heard a lot from her. Why does she not come out and say anything? Why did she never come out and say a whole lot? Why can't she speak about her support for him? If it's legit, if it's authentic, why don't you let her speak about it? It sounds really scripted, that whole bit. But there again, they're talking about misinformation. And I do think that that's what they want to control right now. But they need the Black community to co-sign Fauci. That's what they still trying to do that. They're still trying to do that after all this time. They wanted you to co-sign Cuomo out of New York, with the stateswoman who was, you know, earlier last year. They had Blackers. They have these symbolic people that they trot out every time that they're trying to normalize or massage a demographic, a supply. And I think they use the Black community to do that all the time. But I'm thinking there's a campaign going on, and it's not just here in the States. I do think it's a global campaign. So with that, I wanted to kind of just go back just for a second and just tell you about one other piece in which Prince Harry was on the same thing. You know, what have you guys got in your homes? What? You got a bunch of CV home kits, CV-19 home kits. And Prince Harry has been a huge advocate for the in-home test kits. He wants to eradicate or continue his mother's work by eliminating people, I guess, having unknown statuses. And to me, this is no different than what Johnson's talking about. You know, people knowing their status, becoming comfortable with it. You know, there's a lot more pharmaceutical companies out there running commercials. There's more drug companies out there talking about HIV medication. And why is it happening right now? Why is it happening right now? This is food for thought. You know, you think about it. I'll probably put the pendulum out, but before I do that, I want to open this article up here from Prince Harry, actually. So I don't know. Have you guys received any? Did you guys ever buy into any of these home test kits for HIV? Did you ever buy into any of that? I mean, knowing your status, you know, it's everybody's responsibility. Everybody's responsibility for their status, right? So we'll see. I don't think this is going to end with. I don't really think this is going to end with Magic Johnson. So we're going to go there. We're going to go this last. This is an oxfordmail.com. I'm going to share this little liner with you. Then I'm going to put the pendulum out and see what you guys have. See if you guys want to share anything or thoughts on this, but we're going to get out of here because, like I said, this is kind of this day is flown out and I've got a couple of things to do. I wish I had more time, but we'll get going here. All right, so I'm going to share this screen with you out of the Oxford Mail. It's like these people have known about, they know exactly what's going on. They know their roles. Everybody has a role in this thing. Okay, so here we go. At some point, I think they're going to be made available. Hi, Gary Gage. All right, so here's this. This is oxfordmail.co.uk. All right, it's a lot of fluff in here. It shouldn't be, but it's an older article, but it was there. Sorry about this, guys. Okay, so let me just fix this up. A little bit of a delay on that, but it was working earlier. I'm not sure what happened, but of course, that was the bulk of what I have for you on this stream. I mean, of course, I could get into some other things. There's MIT study findings on the mocktails. There's a whistleblower talking about the mocktails. You name it. So, but yeah, I don't think I'm going to be able to pull this because it was kind of an older article, but it certainly talks about, Prince Harry basically saying, that's what his mission is, to get everybody's status known in the UK by 2030 and to encourage people to get in-home test kits. That's what he wants to achieve. Okay. All right, guys. So let's see. I'm going to take a quick little break here. Actually, I'm going to go ahead and put this pendulum out here right now. And I will be right back. But just don't be bewitched, okay? Just keep your eyes open. I think is the message here. The bewitching is real. Bewitching is real. So we'll be right back. We'll be right back. All right, guys, thank you so much, per usual, for being around on this segment of Black Spring with Autumn. I really appreciate it. So I do have the pendulum out there, and I just said, I just thought it's interesting that Magic Johnson, he's touting how helpful Fauci was to him. But what about the other people that were lost at that time? I mean, of course, it's just, to me, it just speaks to the elitism, the elite status. Okay, you had access to this guy, if that's real. Okay, but then if his work should have been a little bit more far-reaching than that, right? If he's so great, then wouldn't he have had a bigger impact than just Magic? Magic's is the biggest survivor in this, or the most influential. He's the biggest testimony, or I'm. It doesn't quite jive with me. Okay. And a lot of people they know that they don't have the numbers in these CV19 mocktails. They know they don't have that amongst the Black community as well. So you can't convince me that they're not aware of that, because they've checked it out. And if you guys go to any visits or whatnot, don't forget to check out your Z28 status, because that's exactly what you'll see them write. In fact, I've already witnessed it. They've got you coded. Based on your CV19 status. So yeah, that's what that's what I think his job is he's going to play a role in this campaign again. This is part 2 of Johnson's, this is part 2 of his role. That's my story, and I'm sticking to it. So I do have the pendulum out there. I want to thank you guys so much for coming in. I'm going to go through and say hello to everybody that's in the stream. I really appreciate it. Thank you guys for coming in earlier. I'm sorry that article didn't quite work. I could probably go from it. I could probably go with Dogpile a little bit. Let's see. Instead of, yeah. Okay, yeah. So it was February 10th, 2022 that Prince Harry was urging people to know your status and go get a test for HIV. So that's what he was doing. And he vowed to finish his late mother's work. So, we got a lot of people, got a lot of work, got so much work and time invested into the HIVs, it's kind of remarkable, I think. All right, so let's just say hi to everybody in the stream. Luciano is here. Thank you so much for coming in, Luciano. I really appreciate it. DJ Vision Barnett, I really appreciate you so much for coming in. And let me just read this comment. I'm gonna read some comments from you guys because we're still under an hour right now. Luciano says that Clarence Thomas, Kavanaugh, and a CB didn't kill themselves. Just putting it out there. Interesting, Luciano. Fancy Truth, thank you so much for coming in. It's nice to see you. Angry Conservative, thank you so much for coming in. I'm sure I'm probably gonna get by your show for sure. I'll be in the background without a doubt, Angry Conservative. And if I can, I'll see what I can do. But right now I gotta get you guys out of here. What else do we have? Mad Militant. Hi, Mad Militant. It says multitasking, listening. I appreciate it. Callie Unknown. Thank you so much for coming in. Mad Militant. Who else do we have? So Luciano says science or theance. Okay. What else do we have? What else do we have? A lot going on politically today, right? The last couple of days. I haven't gotten into any of that stuff, not a whole lot. I did talk about a little bit. I did a little bit of a mobile stream that I kind of talked a little bit about the Roe v. Wade deal. I think it's like just kind of some fodder or whatnot that we're going to deal with because it is that time of the year that the Matrix is back. And my thought is red and blue make purple is all I can say about that right now. That's all I want to get into on that right now. Gary Gage was here. Luciano says, remember the smallpox lab that was near Philadelphia. Okay. Tinfoil Brett, how are you? Freedom's March, how are you? But yeah, so just thinking, they're trying to get you to cozy up to Lord Fauci right now. And I part 2 of Magic Johnson and the AIDS campaign is back. So also shout out to Uncool Paranoia. I mentioned this earlier. If you haven't had a chance to get over to her channel, you need to get over there. You might want to have a look at that particular, she did a fantastic stream and she actually went back into some of the 1990s there was a home. She features some great things from the 90s on those in-home test HIV kits. So you might want to get over there, but I'm telling you, this campaign is back and they're using the Boule. They need the Boule to bring it home for the globe again. I'm just saying. So we'll see what comes up there. Thanks so much, Angry Conservative. I will be there, at least in the background. I have not formed a whole lot of opinions on things that are going on. I've said a little bit on the whole Roe v. Wade thing, but I'm sure you guys, there's a lot going on. Yeah. All right, guys. And Freedom's March is here. Thank you so much for tuning in. Yes, Fancy Truth. They are. I better start using some emergency, get some more emergency food storage stuff. So I better start doing. Hi, Independent Mini. Okay. All right, guys. So this was our magic Boule or our Boule magic that we brought back from earlier today. But we'll keep an eye on it. But I'm just saying, I think something is about to be. I think they're going to try to unify. They managed to unify the world. Okay, you had what Zuckerberg brought you Facebook. Musk is trying to bring you together in another way, and I think that they're going to use health and all this stuff they're going to use some other deceptions to do something else right about now is what I think is a possibility, is a huge possibility. Something else is about to come out, and they need to normalize everybody, starting with the Black community and their noble societies and their people. So flying monkeys are everywhere, and know your status. Right now, your status starts with a Z, but we'll see what happens. All right, guys. Well, you guys have a great rest of your hump day, and I'll see you guys around.